massive political consequence. You could call it an inflection point. Viewers, there's a real danger that the ground from under the opposition's feet is slipping fast. Barely 300 days ahead of the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, there has opened what could become an irreparable tear in opposition unity. Yes, viewers, Sharad Pawar, we all know, is perhaps the most influential and undoubtedly the most senior leader in opposition ranks. Today, in a remark replete with consequences and implications, he has indicated that his party, the NCP, the Nationalist Congress Party, may break ranks with the Congress, the Uddhav Sena, and even the Samajwadi Party ahead of the 2024 elections. Now, viewers, you may recall that the NCP was one of the original partners within the UPA. It was also one of the original constituents of the Maha Vikas Aghadi in Maharashtra that outmoded the BJP in the state. If Pawar were to go his way, it would constitute a major vote of no confidence in the opposition's claim that it can provide a stable alternative to the Modi-led NDA. Now, viewers, think about it. Give it some thought. If the opposition parties cannot inspire confidence in one of its own, namely Sharad Pawar, how can it convince you, the voter, to vote for it? If Pawar himself believes that these parties, this Gathbandhan, is not going to amount to much, and there is nothing to be really gained by aligning his party with it, he must have reasons. He might have differences. And if those differences, viewers, are the ones the opposition is campaigning on, if the opposition believes those reasons are the reasons why you should vote for it, and Sharad Pawar doesn't think so, then viewers, why will you? So Pawar's remarks hold particular significance and may not be easily dismissed either. Remember, viewers, of late, he has openly defied the opposition line on several issues, several critical issues, several issues that the opposition believes are important enough to raise in the public domain, in Parliament, to hold up Parliament for. Because these issues, it believes, are the ones, viewers, that are critical to this nation. But if Sharad Pawar doesn't believe so, viewers, then either the opposition is misleading us, or Sharad Pawar doesn't think that the opposition is perspicacious enough to pick the right issue. So, viewers, over the last few weeks, Sharad Pawar has differences with the Congress party and some others in the opposition over Savarkar, Veer Savarkar, over Adani. Remember, viewers, that for the longest period of time, in fact, pretty much the whole of the last session, the budget session, the opposition disrupted every single day, claiming that there was an unholy nexus between the Prime Minister on the one hand and Gautam Adani on the other, because Hindenburg believed that Adani was given the elbow room, the freedom to manipulate stocks, etc., and was doing it because perhaps it was being patronized. Pawar even disagreed with the opposition over their demand for a joint parliamentary committee into this Adani, Modi, Hindenburg issue. Then, of course, viewers, there was the much-hyped row over the Prime Minister's qualifications. Pawar also went against that. Pawar believes that these issues are a sticking point, and that the desire and willingness to work together can't be enough if such fundamental differences are not resolved. Listen in first to Sharad Pawar, viewers. Very, very critical, very, very important remark.
एकत्र काम करायची इच्छा आहे पण इच्छाच नाही पोलिसीला त्याच्यातले काही इश्यू आहेत का नाही ते अजून केलंच नाही ते कसं सांगता येईल.
Now viewers, I'm going to play that remark once again and pay attention. Pay attention to what he's saying. He says today we are a part of the Maha Vikas Aghadi and there is a willingness to work together. But desire alone is not always enough. Yes, we might all get along well, but the desire enough is not alone. The allotment of seats, whether there are any problems, larger or not, all this has to be discussed yet. So how can I tell you if we can unite for the 2024 polls and even arrive at some sort of an understanding? Listen again, viewers, pay attention to that point. The desire alone is not always enough.
नाही बाकी आता आम्ही एकत्र लढणार वगैरे राजी आहे एकत्र काम करायची इच्छा आहे पण इच्छाच नाही पोलिसीला लढायचं वाटतं त्याच्यातले काही इश्यू आहेत का नाही ते अजून केलंच नाही ते कसं सांगता येईल.
There you go, viewers. Very critical. As I was saying, viewers, Sharad Pawar has also openly deviated from the opposition line to demand a JPC probe into the Adani issue. He's even questioned the frenzy over Adani. He's even hosted the industrialist at his home. He had a breakfast meeting a few days ago. He's also rapped the Congress over targeting Savarkar repeatedly. Rumors of his nephew Ajit Pawar reportedly knocking on the doors of the BJP also rocked the opposition. He's had a problem with other political parties when they've commented on the Prime Minister's degree, or they claim the lack thereof, saying that, oh, the Prime Minister is an unpad gawar. And viewers, what is more replete with consequences is also that his remarks come on a day when Chief Minister Nitish Kumar was seen leading efforts to stitch together an anti-Modi alliance nationally. Nitish and his deputy Tejasvi flew down to Kolkata to meet Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee, and then later also met former Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh and the Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav. This is what transpired. Mamta Banerjee came out and gave a press conference, viewers. This is how she described the entire meeting and the significance of it. But let me tell you, viewers, before I take you there, I want you to look at the exact points of difference between Pawar and other members of the MVA or the UPA. Let's go and pull out that graphic. Opposition unity is in disarray. That's the big issue. Opposition has lost, it appears, viewers, Pawar's trust on the Adani issue. On the Adani issue, you have a situation where Rahul Gandhi in Parliament and outside said Modani exposed and PM is scared, that the link between Modi and Adani is exposed and the Prime Minister is running scared. Pawar says, and this was really something that put the entire opposition into a complete tailspin. He said Hindenburg report was an attempt at targeting the Prime Minister. Individual group of India, that is the Adani group, has been targeted. On the issue of JPC into the Adani issue, remember for a while, viewers, the opposition was at sea. They couldn't agree on this demand for a JPC. The TMC didn't quite agree with Rahul Gandhi's demand. Others seemed to agree with Rahul Gandhi's demand. But Sharad Pawar then really punctured the balloon. Democracy is in danger. Order JPC, said Rahul Gandhi. Sharad Pawar says, disagree on JPC, won't oppose it. I don't think it's the best way to go forward. It's not going to bring out anything. Viewers, on the Savarkar issue, Rahul Gandhi said, I'm a Gandhi, not Savarkar. And he made other unflattering remarks, some of them, of course, unsubstantiated by fact on Mr. Veer Savarkar. Sharad Pawar came out and said, can't ignore Savarkar's contribution. And Rahul Gandhi just did not upset Sharad Pawar on this issue, he also rubbed Uddhav Thackeray the wrong way when it came to this. But anyhow, viewers, all of this, Sharad Pawar injecting a new dynamic on the day when Nitish Kumar was trying to put up a brave face and suggest that the opposition is together. Watch Mamata Banerjee speak on that meeting.
सभी लोग पता नहीं इतिहास को बदल देंगे, क्या करेंगे, तो सब लोगों को अलर्ट होना है। इसलिए हम लोग सब लोगों से बातचीत, और आज बहुत अच्छी बातचीत हुई है, और फिर इसके आगे आवश्यकता अनुसार जब होगा तो हम लोग सब एक साथ और अन्य पार्टियों को सबको एक साथ करके और बैठ करके बातचीत भी करेंगे और आगे के बारे में तय करेंगे। यही बात हुई है। अब बहुत अच्छा है, बहुत पॉजिटिव बात हुई है, हम आप तय करें। लेकिन
पहले एक साथ में एक मैसेज कर देना है कि हम लोग सब एक साथ में है। हम तो पहले से आप लोगों को कह चुका कि हमारा इसमें कोई ऐतराज नहीं है। हम चाहते हैं बीजेपी जीरो बन जाए, बहुत बड़ा हीरो बन गया, कोई कुछ नहीं करके मीडिया का सपोर्ट में और नैरेटिव बना के, खाली झूठा बात करके, फेक वीडियो बना के और फेक बात करके और गुंडा गद्दारी करके, ऐसा नहीं चल सकता है।
महंगाई चरम सीमा पर है, बेरोजगारी चरम सीमा पर है, और इस भारतीय जनता पार्टी को हटाने में हम आप लोगों के साथ हैं। भारतीय जनता पार्टी हटे, देश बचे, उस अभियान में हम लोग आपके साथ हैं।
Viewers, while these opposition leaders are today suggesting they are all on the same page, ignoring the fact that Sharad Pawar is perhaps beating to his own drum, the facts, however, don't bear this out on the ground. Most are still busy settling political scores to care about the larger picture. They're unfortunately appealing to their own vote banks, looking over their shoulders. And let me give you a quick rundown over these hard facts. Rahul Gandhi said, "I'm a Gandhi, not a Savarkar," attacked for the lengthiest possible period of time. Veer Savarkar and his legacy. Uddhav Thackeray, his best friend, turned around and said, "Savarkar is our God, don't insult him." On EVMs, Jairam Ramesh of the Congress says fears of EVM misuse not addressed. Ajit Pawar comes out and says EVMs can't be manipulated, don't make a non-issue. Illiterate Prime Minister is a threat to the nation, said Arvind Kejriwal. Who ticked him off? It was Sharad Pawar. On Sisodia's arrest as part of the alleged Liquorgate scandal, Kejriwal said anti-national forces put Sisodia and Jain, the other minister Satyendra Jain, in jail. In another matter, the Aam Aadmi Party used corruption money to weaken the Congress. Ajay Makan, senior most leader in the Delhi Congress, comes out and basically poked his bubble. Adani crisis, foreign policy changed by Modani, said Rahul Gandhi. Sharad Pawar says an individual industrial firm was targeted, saying that this entire story was really hyperbolic. Mamata Banerjee also got, viewers, ticked off by Adhir Chaudhary. TMC will fight solo with people's support. And Ranjan Chaudhary said TMC is a Trojan horse in the opposition camp. This is what the Congress said. So the Congress doesn't want to work with the TMC. The Congress has a problem with the AAP. The NCP has a problem with multiple players. It's all a khichdi. Mamata Banerjee then had a problem with the left. Unholy alliance of CPIM, Congress, BJP behind the defeat of a candidate in Sagardigi. The verdict there, viewers. Anger against unethical TMC in Sagardigi. So all of this is going on. There's Derek O'Brien, who got really upset because Jagan Reddy and Naveen Patnaik skipped Stalin's meet. So he took a dig at these two leaders. Then Congress versus BRS. So Telangana Rashtra Samiti now, which has reconstituted itself BRS because it wants to play a national role. So KCR looted the state of Telangana. KTR says international leader Rahul couldn't even win Amethi, and as you know, he's called him a buffoon in the past. So viewers, it is a complete khichdi, and there are many other examples where these people are contending against each other. I want to open this up and I want to bring in some of our guests this evening, and I want to begin first with the Congress, and I want to bring in KJ Josemon, who's the senior leader of the NCP. Now, Mr. Josemon, thank you for joining us here on Times Now, but Sharad Pawar really put the cat amongst the pigeons. He's got a problem on some of the most important issues. Why does Sharad Pawar believe that the Congress party is wrong on Savarkar, that they are wrong on targeting Adani on the basis of the Hindenburg report? What is the issue here? These are the bread and butter issues of the opposition. Mr. Josemon.
Yeah. My dear friends, you have taken a long, painful way to express and to picturize in a way that the entire opposition unity is gone away. It's in vain. And you have repeatedly said many things, like Mr. Pawar stating against JPC repeatedly so many times. But just one time you said that for the sake of opposition unity, we, the Nationalist Congress Party, will not oppose JPC when it is demanded by the opposition.
Mr. Josemon, I'm asking you, is the alliance on? Is Sharad Pawar, why hasn't he come out and said, I'm with the MVA for 2024? Why is he saying that we'll have to look, desire is not enough? Did he not say this, yes or no?
No, let me complete. Please don't interfere. I am coming to your question. All your questions will be answered. There's no problem at all. Mr. Pawar, when the this Adani issue came up, the start itself he said that JPC will not be enough. Because we had 8 JPCs before, from 1987 to 2014. In fact, Mr. Pawar himself headed one JPC. But all these JPC could not do anything with
Mr. Josemon, I'm again asking you to stick to the point. I don't want this rambling preamble. I'm asking you, I put out facts. Why don't you come out and put out facts? Let me ask you, pointed questions.
You have raised this issue of JPC several times. So I have to answer for that. Why Mr. Pawar is not in favor of JPC? Because all JPC exercises happened in the past were failed miserably. So why should we again go for the faulty exercise in the expense of the taxpayer? So he said,
Rahul Gandhi, the Congress party, and the other parties who demanded a JPC, thankfully I don't think the TMC threw their lot in with that demand, are they today barking up the wrong tree on the JPC? Simple question, sir.
Even Mr. Pawar said that if opposition stick upon to the JPC, he also will support them. But for him, Supreme Court Supervisory Committee would be the better option.
So are you saying that a whole session of Parliament was held up to make a demand that was really not the answer? Okay. No, 1 second. That's okay, sir. I mean, there was, you can say that both sides, did not work together and all that. I concede that point. Yes, you can say that, okay. But it's not as if the opposition, excuse me, Mr. Josemon, 1 second. Let's set the JPC apart. It appears to me that Sharad Pawar in his interview to the now Adani-owned NDTV came out and very clearly said that, look, this group was targeted and that we shouldn't go by the Hindenburg report. Why did he say this?
Yeah, we must go with the Supreme Court Committee. That's all.
But he doesn't believe in the Hindenburg report. Why?
No, he said Hindenburg is a new entity. We don't know anything about them. Especially Mr. Pawar.
Yes, but the opposition took the Hindenburg report despite knowing nothing about them at face value. Okay. So this is quite embarrassing, viewers.
No. Not only opposition, but the Supreme Court of India already taken up the matter and they have constituted a committee. So Mr. Pawar is supporting that committee in the place of JPC because JPC could not produce any result earlier.
Yes, but your friends are not, right? That's the real problem. He might support the demand at the end of the day, but your friends are not. You have to concede that your own boss is saying it. Yes.
My dear
so
friend, it is not Adani, it is not Savarkar. The issue of opposition unity is the burning issues of the Indian population. highest employment rate, unemployment rate.
Sir, Mr. Josemon, now let's not try to, let's not try to, you're tying yourself up in knots. Okay, Mr. Josemon, you're tying yourself up in knots. The entire session was washed out over the Adani issue.
Washed out.
Excuse me.
Adani issue. No. You want to, you are using the opposition. The ruling party itself, I think it is
okay. So look, viewers,
ruling party is purposefully blocking the.
Okay, whatever. The point is that the Adani issue. Okay, the Adani issue became a sticking point. The Adani issue became a massive sticking point in Parliament, and that's one of the. Okay, Mr. Josemon, I've heard you. Calm down. Let the others speak. We've dealt with you. You know, you have a problem with Sharad Pawar. You can take it out with him. He's been very clear.
No, I don't.
But you're contradicting him right now on national TV. I don't think he'll be very happy with that. But nonetheless, maybe there's a lot of democracy in your party and you won't end up suspended. Okay, 1 second. Viewers, this is rather strange. This is rather strange. Mr. Pawar comes out and makes it quite clear on 3 or 4 issues that he doesn't agree with the opposition on those issues, especially different elements of the opposition. And we are expected to think that Sharad Pawar is thick as friends with all his other partners. And Mr. Josemon is also saying that Sharad Pawar doesn't believe that the JPC is the right route because there is a Supreme Court appointed committee. At least he's been honest enough there. So viewers, you'll have to ask yourself, why did we have an entire washout, pretty much, of Parliament then over the JPC? Man, that's really a serious question. In fact, if I take you over what he said, viewers, he even said that there was an entire session, and he said such statements were given by other individuals too. And earlier there was a ruckus in Parliament for a few days, but this time out of proportion importance was given to the issue. He's saying this about his own opposition friends. The issues that were kept, who kept them? We had never heard of these people who gave the statement. What is the background? When they raise issues that cause a ruckus across the country, the cost is borne by the country's economy. We cannot disregard these things. It seems this was targeted. This is what Sharad Pawar said. Quote unquote, viewers. What does that tell you? Tehseen Poonawala, what does that tell you? It tells you, and I think you were perhaps there that night when that statement was issued and I put this out. Of course, the caveat was that today NDTV has changed management and it is an Adani-led channel, but that doesn't take away from the fact that Sharad Pawar stood there and waxed eloquent about Mr. Adani and then recently met Mr. Adani, which is something that Rahul Gandhi would not do, I'm quite sure, after having said all those nasty things about Mr. Adani. So Tehseen Poonawala, why is it that Sharad Pawar is going out of his way to suggest that he's okay with Adani? He in fact loves the man, his money, whether it is from foreign sources or whether it is, coming from the Cayman Islands or this island on that island, he has no problems.
Don't go away from the subject.
No, I'm not going away. Don't worry. Sir, you stay on the point. Okay, I'm going to lower the fader. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll have to lower the fader, sir. Yes. Okay, Tehseen Poonawala. So you have a problem there. There's a problem with Savarkar issue. Very burning issue for Rahul Gandhi. He took out a whole Bharat Jodo Yatra to say that people like Savarkar were being given so much importance by the BJP to divide this country, left, right and center. The Hindutva ideology is the worst, and we all know that Savarkar actually propounded Hindutva. So this must be a problem. If you can't win over Mr. Pawar's endorsement on these issues, why do you expect the voter to come out and vote for you, sir, and believe that these are the issues?
Good evening, Rahul. Thank you for having me on the show. And I do recollect being with you in the evening when you did speak about the issue of the said industrialist. And I do admit that you were the first to put that out. And of course, subsequently, there was an interview of Sharad Pawar ji with the said news channel, which is now owned by the industrialists. So congratulations and kudos to you. You've always not just been first, but you've also been reliable. So that's a good job. But let me go to the crux of the issue as it may be. Rahul, you will agree, and Smita ji here, for whom I have immense respect, that politics is extremely complex as is building alliances. It's not a simple job. It's not like the NDA does not have its complexities, its share of complexities. For example, recently the NDA has lost several alliance partners. The most honorable Prime Minister gets up in Parliament and says, "Main akela sab pe bhari," running down his own 300 MPs sitting behind him. He doesn't even consider them. So it's not a one-man show. Alliances will be complex. For example, let me give you a practical example. The most honorable Prime Minister and most honorable Home Minister in Meghalaya, about Conrad Sagma, said that this was the most corrupt government in the history of India, while they were a part of it. Then they fought him, and now they're a part of that alliance. So that happens. Erstwhile it happened in Kashmir as well, which they rightfully broke. So there will be complexities. There is freedom. There will be different points of view. Kapil Sibal's made a very good suggestion for this UPA. Come together on broader issues and iron those out. The smaller issues can take themselves. Don't get into contentious issues. Now, you see, the natural enemy, I'm saying because Dr. Panja is here, the natural enemy for the TMC would obviously be the Congress party. I think you've lost me.
No, we can hear you. Go ahead. We can hear you. Well, Tehseen Poonawala, yes, we can hear you. Go ahead. You were making a point. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, I think the natural enmity for the TMC would obviously be the Congress party and the left, more than the BJP even today. That's inherently their DNA. Of course, today the BJP is the bigger opponent, but inherently when the party was formed, the DNA was anti-left. So it will be difficult for the TMC to come in an alliance. And you have to acknowledge that with the Congress party in the left. The Congress is fighting the left in Kerala. So you have to understand that there will be macro alliances at the union level. There'll be statewide rivalries in Telangana, in West Bengal, in Kerala, and you'll have to bunch those contradictions together. That's point number one. Point number two, as so far specifically about the Pawar concerned, and I come from the city of Pune, the city of Peshwas, I am not a fan of believing everything that is said by any politician verbatim. So I have known the Pawars very well personally. And I do hope that they stick in an alliance with the UPA because that is in larger national interest. But even more so, my reading of the situation is their Karyakartas and a lot of their ministers this time don't want to go for power. So yes, there may be a process, short-term gain, but I think long-term it will affect the NCP if they break the alliance. And I'm sure Mr. Pawar Sr. knows that much, much better than any of us sitting on this panel. I have immense respect for him. So I think he does
One
get
second, Tehseen Poonawala, just straight. You said that let's follow the Sibal formula of talking about broader issues. Now, tell me something. The broadest issue I would think, and I'm going to bring in editor of ANI as well as the Bharatiya Janata Party next. I thought that the broadest issue possible is one of corruption because it affects the broadest number of people across the length and breadth of this country. If as a taxpayer, Mr. Tehseen Poonawala, I feel that my hard-earned salary is being bilked by somebody who is working in tandem with the corrupt and then sits in parliament, I would be mighty upset. If you remember, that anger manifested itself against the Congress party in 2014 and you found yourself out of power now for almost 9 years and that legacy lives on. So I don't think there's any bigger issue in a democracy than corruption, accountability, honesty, integrity. So one second. So Tehseen Poonawala, if you guys can't agree on this basic issue as who is corrupt, I mean, if there is a scandal the size of what you claim, the Modani scandal, we should all be worried. And if you can't agree on that, what is Mr. Sibal suggesting here? We should talk about what? The weather, the Prime Minister's degree? Which are the broader issue are you talking about? The color of his laces? What should we talk about?
Never make personal attacks on the Prime Minister. It's an advice I'm giving the opposition, Mrs. Sibal. Everyone's giving it. The Prime Minister is the tallest leader. It doesn't.
That you're a sensible man, Tehseen Poonawala, but you are the one who talked about broader issues. What is a broader issue than corruption?
May I give you the answer of corruption? Just one line. Corruption will only stick as it's stuck on UPA if you can link it to economic disparity and the economy collapsing.
But it is under the current if Mr. Hang on. If Mr. Adani is If Mr. Adani is unfairly cornering the state's resources. It's going to affect the common man, sir.
But you are not articulate enough to link
Now,
it to
viewers,
loss of opportunity.
This is another opposition leader today who has been exposed. They talked about broader issues. I said, what more is broader issue than corruption? That eats into my savings, my hard-earned savings, and I get zero accountability. So if you can't talk about that because you don't agree about that, you don't agree about the fact that Modi and Adani, etc., are in, this sort of unholy nexus that Rahul Gandhi keeps claiming, then that's a massive fissure. So you park that aside and you talk about what? Polarization in the country, the Hindutva, Savarkar, you don't agree about that, so you park that aside. What is left? Smita Prakash, what is left? Before I bring in the BJP, what is left? If you can't talk about these basic issues, you can't talk about democratic backsliding, you can't talk about communalism, you can't talk about corruption, what is left to talk about?
So what is left to talk about, and the only issue left to talk about as far as the opposition is concerned, is get rid of the BJP. Somehow or the other, get rid of Modi and get rid of BJP. That is just the only issue that unites the parties. And it's an ephemeral kind of unification. Because when you were mentioning the various things that Mr. Pawar had said, one, he says is there should be clarity on issues. Now, what does he mean by clarity? Because when there are difference of opinion as far as the issues are concerned, then there is no question of clarity. There is clarity in each of their minds regarding those issues, but there is no meeting ground. So, in today when Mamata Banerjee met with Nitish Kumar and Tejasvi Yadav in full media glare. Now, some of these meetings are happening out, not in media glare. Some are happening within the media ambit. And what she said was interesting, besides saying the usual things of, that the BJP has come to power and is in power only because of the media, etc., etc. But what she said, another point which I found significant was that she said that the moves should begin from Bihar, like it did, long ago during the JP movement. She said Jayaprakash Narayan brought together the parties at that time. Now, India today is not India of the 70s. Also, there is there's no socialist movement as such which will get together these parties. So where she's asking Nitish Kumar to take charge just temporarily to get together everybody. Remember, JP did not become Prime Minister. So it was a very loaded statement that she was asking Nitish to do, which is bring together the parties like JP brought together from Bihar. But then the point is that Nitish has become almost obsolete in his own state. 18 years as Chief Minister, people are tired of him. He's bereft of ideas even for his own state. As far as the other parties are concerned, I think one should gaze more southwards, more towards the Deccan, as far as any leadership moves are concerned. And I think Stalin has managed to bring about some kind of a unity as far as the caste factor is concerned. He had 2 chief ministers and 1 deputy chief minister attend his meeting as far as caste-based reservations are concerned. Now, people might have different views about it, that caste-based reservations are again as obsolete or old an idea, a Ghisa-Pita idea which is being tried and tested and it's over. New India doesn't believe in all that. You can go on about it, but at least he has managed to get together some of the big wigs.
Okay, he's managed to get. But you see, viewers, we are talking about a overarching Gathbandhan, which brings everyone together, because if you're going to have 3 or 4 fronts against Modi, then you have a problem. Because if they can't band together now on ideological grounds, because after all, they don't know they're winning, then how do you expect them to come together after? And will they only come together because it will put them in power? So power, not ideology, will be the glue. And that is a very dangerous glue, viewers, because that means that they're opportunists, that this is a coalition of convenience. But I want to bring in the BJP. It's not as if, Sanju Verma, coalitions have not taken place between disparate parties and given stable government. The NDA was a coalition of many disparate parties. A CMP was obviously evolved. You had Chandrababu Naidu, who was the convener of the alliance. Then you had the UPA, 10 years of the UPA. So what's the big deal? There are some kinks. They'll be ironed out. Why are you saying that this is a coalition of convenience and the corrupt and sort of chiding them? It's okay. They'll come together.
Okay. Rahul, 30 minutes into your debate, I have some very important points to make.
Sure.
Very quickly, point number one, if we look at the Times ETG survey that was out last week, you asked respondents, can a united opposition take on PM Modi in 2024 Lok Sabha poll? 49% said no, not in 2024. 15% said let them unite first.
The opposition will give a good fight, and 19% said that perhaps there will be some form of a united opposition. Basically, 49 plus 15%, that is 64% believe that in 2024, a united opposition is not possible. That is the respondents of Times ETG survey speaking, and I have every reason to believe a survey which reflects the mood of the nation rather than biased panelists, be it myself or from the other side. The second point, which I found very interesting, and I think this is what actually stole the entire narrative from well under the opposition's frisky feet. You asked whether the CBI and the ED are doing a good job. And 49% said that the CBI and ED are doing a spectacular job. 30% said that yes, they have helped get money from overseas. 17% said that earlier governments were not serious, and 21% said all of the above, which basically means that 100% of your respondents felt in some form or the other the CBI and the ED are doing either a spectacular or a reasonably good job. So this entire charade by the opposition that the CBI and ED are being abused and misused because that has been the biggest anti-Modi narrative doing the rounds. That stands completely busted. And now point number 3. Please, Rahul, let me speak. I'll not take more than 1 minute. The third and most important question which you asked your respondents, and which I think your viewers need to listen to again. You asked about, what about Adani? Do you believe in this entire Adani issue, or is it just a targeted propaganda? 34% of your respondents said it was targeted propaganda. The entire Adani issue. 19% said it was an anti-India propaganda. 16% said it was part of an international toolkit. So 34 plus 19 plus 16. 69% actually believe that the Adani issue is some form of propaganda, either by vested interests or by an international toolkit. And only 21% felt that the Adani issue is a serious one. Again, the opposition is completely exposed. Now in 30 seconds, I will tell you why it is Modi back in 2024. Narendra Modi won 2019 for the BJP. Under his leadership, we acquired a massive 303 seats. I'm saying let us stick to that 303, but let us hypothetically talk of a united opposition. Very quickly, let us say that the BRS with its 9 seats comes together, the DMK with its 23 seats that it got in 2019 comes together, Mamata Banerjee comes together with her 22 seats that she got in the last Lok Sabha, CPI comes together with its 3 seats, National Conference comes together with its 3 seats, IUML, the Indian Union Muslim League comes together with its 1 seat, Jharkhand Mukti Morcha with 1 seat, JDU with 16 seats, and the Uddhav Sena comes together with its 2 seats, because out of 19 MPs, 17 have shifted to the Shinde camp. So assuming, and also assume that,
so what's the point you're making?
Let me finish. 20 seconds. Samajwadi Party with its 3 MPs also comes together. What I'm saying is, assume a situation that Samajwadi Party, JDU, Mamata Banerjee, National Conference, they all come together. What is the total number of seats? That is why I was giving you a number. The total number of seats comes to 89. I'm saying add the benefit of another 25% to them. Add another 25%
Well, so you're saying, okay, one second. So you're saying, if you do the math, there will be a large number of opposition parties that will need to come together, disparate in ideology, contending in their own states, and therefore it will be the most fractious coalition. And does India need stability for the next 10 years when it has a demographic dividend and it's poised to become the third largest economy in the world in a very, very complex international business environment, economic environment? Yes, viewers, that's what we need. We can't have a potpourri of all sorts of contending parties. That's what the BJP is saying. Let's bring in Dr. Shashi Panja of the TMC. Dr. Panja, I want to ask you a very simple question tonight. Do you support, and it's a very simple question, the Congress party, when it comes out and says that Mamata Banerjee, and I read out what Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary has said, did I not? Do you support, can you overlook what he has said about your supreme leader? Because he said, TMC will fly solo with people's support. TMC is a Trojan horse in the opposition camp. The Congress doesn't trust you. You obviously have a problem with the Congress. You don't also trust the left.
Good evening, Rahul. Please bless me for my patience, for having waited for almost 35-40 minutes. Now, Rahul ji, it's very simple. If Sonia Gandhi and Mamata Banerjee share a very good relationship, then that is it. They share a good relationship. And it's also sharing a good political relationship. That's one. Rahul ji, we heard through all the discussions and all the points. The basic idea which even Mamata Banerjee said today, when Nitish Kumar ji came and Tejasvi Yadav, or the other day Kumaraswamy ji had come, or Akhilesh Yadav had come, etc. Or even in the past, she has always stuck to this statement that let all the regional parties in their own domains, in their own states, especially when we are talking about the non-BJP states, that many states that are ruled by non-BJP governments and parties, let them consolidate further and let them unite. Why we are uniting? We are not uniting because we want to come to power and that, as it has been mentioned, that we are just looking for power. We are actually fighting for issues which are pro-people. So as we went through the debate today, what was, attacking Adani or whatever, the modalities may be different. There may be difference whether somebody wants a JPC or even for us, we wanted a Supreme Court monitored investigation or whatever. But the issue still remains the same, that issue which was not discussed in Parliament, or there was no answer given by the ruling government. And that's why, since the questions remain unanswered, and even when promises remained unfulfilled, we will continue to talk about price rise. We will continue to question about unemployment. These are issues that we will be going to the people with. The rise in the petrol prices, the diesel prices, the farmers' discontent. What about the farmers' income, which was to be doubled, and etc. May I be allowed to finish, please? So these are issues where we talk about cooperative federalism, where we speak that why Bengal is the only state which is deprived of funds. So why the economic deprivation? That is why the attack on cooperative federalism, or again, the attack on the non-BJP governments or parties only by the investigative agencies. It could be across the country. It could have been also in Karnataka. Okay. Also on other leaders belonging to these states of different parties. So these are the issues. Okay. Because Mamata Banerjee is also a relatively senior leader. What do you think?
Dr. Panja, no, 1 second. Can I ask you a follow-up question?
For 25 years.
Dr. Panja, can I ask you a follow-up question?
Yes.
Let's take 2019 polls as an example. top leaders shared the stage at the swearing-in ceremony of Karnataka Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy, if you remember, in 2018. Sonia Gandhi was there. This is just a few months before the 2019 elections. Rahul Gandhi was there, Arvind Kejriwal, Sitaram Yechuri, Tejaswi Yadav, Mamta Banerjee, Akhilesh Yadav, Mayawati, all joined hands. And you presented this massive picture of unity. However, by the time the elections were announced in March, most of you had parted ways and were fighting against each other.
Well, it will not still deter us from stitching up the alliance or the network.
No.
A network.
One second.
Try, look for it.
So you
we will still. No. This narrative to say, we can ask, why is BJP unable to cope with its allied parties? Why have all of them left after 2014? There's so many questions,
Let me make a point
The questions will be asked. The point is, what is there to... Why does she butt in every time?
Yeah, 1 second. Sanju, please.
Rahul is
Let
asking
her finish. Okay, Lower Afeda. Yes.
I'm not
Dr.
asking as
Panja, go ahead.
She does that in every debate.
Okay, Dr.
She does
Panja.
it in every debate and I've not
Stay
even
on the point.
spoken about
Stay on the
that.
point, please. Stay
I
on
don't
the
know
point.
why she... Now you mentioned about Congress on CPM. Yes, of course. Please stop the interference. It's jarring. The Congress and the CPM in Kerala. Well, it's, they are fighting, but they will be together. They are together in their alliances in Bengal. So these are issues which can be dealt with, which can be conversed upon. That doesn't deter us from speaking or having a dialogue.
It doesn't deter anybody from having a dialogue.
Adit Chaudhary, as you started off.
Yes.
No.
He's still there.
No, like you mentioned about Sharad Pawar ji, about his comments. His daughter Supriya Sule also has mentioned that she's in touch with her brother Ajit Pawar. She's in touch with all her party MLAs. So that way they will come together again. So
okay. But
these are not issues.
It is a...
as you said, this is not weakening the opposition unit.
I am not... Madam, look.
This will not weaken because our issues are unemployment. Sharad Pawar definitely is against corruption, isn't he? Isn't he worried about the LIC and SBI investments of the people? Of course he is.
Well, ma'am, Sharad Pawar came out. No, hang on. I don't know on what basis you're saying this, because I'm sure he's a very conscientious leader, but when it came to picking an issue, when it came to clarifying on that issue, Sharad Pawar made it very clear that the attack on Adani is frivolous. It was a targeted attack. There was a reason behind it. Therefore, clearly, at that point, he wasn't thinking about LIC's exposure to Adani stocks, this, that, the other. So I think, while I completely agree with you, there's nothing stopping any one of you meeting each other. I have this fear that the differences are more than the similarities. Dr. Sunil Singh, let me ask you, today you are with the RJD, right? Today you're with the RJD. But look at the distance you've had to travel to hold the RJD's hand. Viewers, let me tell you, Nitish on Lalu and Rabdi, when the duo claimed they were reforming people, or viewers, let me tell you, on the issue of corruption. Laluji did not give any clarification on corruption charges. How could I remain silent after having talked about zero tolerance to corruption? Now I have a feeling that they do not have a proper answer. This is when Nitish Kumar split from the RJD and joined the Bharatiya Janata Party before an election. Then he suddenly changes horses and he's back now with RJD. Has the RJD become clean again? Or have you watered down your stance on corruption?
Rahul, there are two things. Give me time, because I'm the last speaker probably. In socio-political life, we politicians are driven by people's aspiration. And people's aspiration are that they are fed up of BJP misrule. You can talk about the price rise. For the first time, the commodities have been taxed. You can talk about the unemployment. The BJP government had said that they would be giving 2 crores employment a year, which amounts to nearly 18 crores. And what they did? They did Agniveer. The regular jobs were converted to contract ones. Many jobs were abolished. And not only this, the jumlebaji of the BJP doing communal disharmony. These are things that people wanted a BJP Mukt Bharat.
Dr. Singh, are you saying corruption is a non-issue? Dr. Panja is talking about price rise. She's talking about corruption. These are things that affect the common Aam Admi directly. Are you telling me that corruption is a non-issue? Dr. Singh, please clarify. When was when was compulsion dictating to Nitish Kumar? Before he joined RJD, after the conviction, before the conviction of Lalu?
Yes, I said, Rahul, I said two reasons. One reason was that people wanted a BJP Mukt Bharat. We gave a Bihar formula by opposition unity and kicking BJP out of power. Same Bihar formula.
You didn't kick. Hello, you didn't kick. You were with the BJP. You support. What is wrong with you, sir? Have you forgotten your political history? आप इतने भूल गए. You have gone from one extreme. You contested the elections together. Do you remember this? The last Bihar election.
But then yes, people's aspiration is
what
more
do you mean people? They voted you back, sir. Your alliance was voted back. Smita Prakash is laughing at you, sir, tonight.
Yeah,
any journalist, any observer of politics will laugh at you.
Second point, Rahul.
No, 1 minute. You said people wanted the BJP out, but they voted your alliance back. आपका फोन भी बज रहा है.
Let me
call a friend, sir. Get your facts straight.
Second part is
सर कौन बनेगा प्रधानमंत्री के शो पर आज आपको कॉल अ फ्रेंड की जरूरत है. प्लीज कॉल अ फ्रेंड.
We were without because of
what are you saying tonight?
We parted ways with RJD.
Sir, Dr. Singh.
And BJP government took many years.
This is laughable.
But they did not come to a conclusion. What does it mean?
Ridiculous.
We are again with RJD. Again, these things are starting. Yeah.
Rahul, I need
No, are you telling me that the RJD is not corrupt? Did Lalu Prasad not go to jail? Is he not convicted?
No.
Is he not banned from contesting elections?
Frankly, that BJP, when he sees that somebody is
I'm asking you, the BJP is not tied up with the RJD. I'm asking you a simple question. Nitish Babu says that he is Kushasan Babu.
He has made allegations at BJP. Let me comment for a
I'm
bit.
asking you.
Nitish,
is he now Sushashan or when was he Kushashan and when is he Sushashan? ये मुझे बता दीजिए.
I don't understand.
He is Sushashan Babu. Let whatever you speak out of it.
So let me ask you,
with
Dr.
your
Sunil
own,
Singh,
with your own
if he is
knowledge,
Sushashan Babu,
I don't mind.
If he is with if he is Sushashan, I'm आपसे मैं सवाल पूछ रहा हूँ, sir, please.
About your knowledge about Nitish
Sir, I'm asking you a simple question. If he is Sushashan Babu, as you are saying, should he be holding hands with the supremo of a political party that is today mired in corruption allegations and a supremo who himself has been convicted in not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 cases, sir? Should he be, yes or no? आप बस यही बता दीजिए.
Rahul, law will take its own course. But
it has
you
taken
talk
its
about
course.
this timing. Let me tell you, when we were with law will take its own course. So let it be. He is not fighting elections.
Sanju Verma wants to come in.
Elections.
Okay.
Very as simple as that.
Sanju Verma on this point.
Whenever we part, when we join RJD, these kind of
whenever you join the RJD, then these types of questions come. Sir, आपने इतनी दफा उनको डिवोर्स दिया है और उनके साथ शादी की है कि सर अब ये मखौल बन गया है. It's become, and questions will be asked because people will wonder what you are doing. Nonetheless, let me bring in Sanju Verma. Why do you ask these irritating questions of the JDU and the RJD, Sanju Verma? They're doing the right thing.
Rahul, I will not take too long because I know we are coming at the fag end of the debate. First and foremost, let me tell the Trinamool Congress spokesperson. She made a personal jibe saying, I intervene in every debate. Madam, you are the women and child development minister of West Bengal. And I'm ashamed to say that when last year the Hansakali gang rape happened and the son of a Trinamool Congress leader was involved, your leader Mamata Banerjee, who happens to be the Chief Minister of West Bengal, said it was not a gang rape, it was a love affair gone wrong, or maybe the girl was pregnant, so she concocted this story. And 4 days back, there has been a horrific rape of a minor in North Dinajpur. And you, as the Women and Child Development Minister, you have an opinion on everything under the sun, but forget shedding tears. You did not have the courtesy as a woman leader to even condemn the rape.
Dr. Panja.
Sit here and give a bhasan to the BJP.
Okay, Dr. Panja, respond. Okay, Sanju Verma, let's get a response from Dr. Panja on that point. One second. Dr. Panja, quick response, and I have a follow-up question to Dr. Panja right after. Yes, 1 second. Dr. Panja. Okay. Let Dr. Panja respond.
Thank you. Yes. I thought I would not get a chance.
No, you will, ma'am. You will. There's no doubt about it. Go ahead.
Rahulji, all of the cases which are being mentioned are happening all throughout the country. The unfortunate part is that I am the Women and Child Development Minister. This is a state which looks into every case.
Okay.
She is unable to digest the right points.
Okay, now hang on.
Not Dinajpur, ma'am.
Okay.
You have no idea.
Okay.
You have no idea, Rahulji.
Yeah.
NCPCR has visited. What the case is, we have looked into it. The state administration from
we are digressing on this issue. I don't think this is an issue. Okay, 1 second. Ms. Verma and Dr. Panja, this is an issue that we shouldn't even be discussing. This is a larger issue right now. We'll come to that in a separate debate at another time. But let's just open it up. Let's just open up. One fundamental question. Viewers, today we have a situation, and that situation is simple. The choice is very simple. There are a large number of opposition parties that believe that the BJP is a curse and they need to come together. The problem here is, viewers, that there is really a basic problem of agreeing on the issues that will bind this Gathbandhan. They disagree with each other. Yet they think that those issues are the principal issues. How they will come together on this, whether we'll have a fractured opposition of many fronts taking on the BJP, how can they actually come together and work together after, in a post-post scenario, all unanswered questions. I leave it at this, viewers. Think about it. This is going to be a watershed election. Do you want to vote for stability, continuity, or do you want to vote for convenience, compulsion,